to go on a river cruise next
We're gonna
May
go back
or
and-
April.
Just can't get there.
Dan,
First week of September, so I talked to someone
and,
today.
but we've already kicked it like 3 times down the road. It was because of COVID, because of Ukraine, everything. So we could only do it, what, one more year adjournment, so to speak. And I look on
Rock
CNN,
and roll a little bit more.
I like the idea.
Danube's drying up. And
Yeah, well,
generally in spring, it should be running. But they have had times where they had to stop the boat. You get off, you take a bus to the next port or the next, yeah, because the river's down.
But there's so many long corridors
Yeah,
and
that's
stuff.
right.
I've heard
Yeah.
those are just amazing.
And they're rocking and rolling.
Buddy of mine, his former next door neighbor,
My
who moved,
theory is that.
is a travel
I'm fine.
agent. And, you know, he takes care of everything, soup to nuts, gets the flights from here to there.
And then,
And he signed
Bogged in.
negotiate. We got like 25 people that, 30 people that are on his tour. Oh, really? So he'll
Last time I
start
went,
negotiating with the bus
passes
stores.
that
We
way.
took us here, we'll give us there, and give us half price.
Because the Dramamine,
That's good to have.
Yeah.
between the
Where do you
Dramamine
play?
and the boat movement,
I think they said we'd gone into
I can't do
Paris.
Dramamine. I can't even do
But
Dramamine.
it always changes.
It's me,
If you take a pre-trip, there's a trip to Prague.
it puts me away.
Spend 3 days in Prague, then you take
Take
a
Dramamine, I'm
bus or a train back to the start.
Yeah, the trains are good.
depends how big the boat is. You get on a real
If
big
you
ship.
have the opportunity, I've heard
Yep, all right.
I would do that.
It's not been
So,
big, huge,
we were out with some of the guys last night,
small.
Not small.
the couples,
And obviously it depends on the weather.
Bigger
about
than
this?
the Titanic.
fly into the Azores, okay? Then you puddle jump to Portugal, spend 3 days in
It's
Portugal,
cold and rainy.
then go to Prague.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This is, I've got
That's beautiful.
yeah.
That is
So they're adding on
Yeah, sorry, I forgot.
where we go.
Came at 6:30.
When am I supposed to do
I
this?
had later found out they got-
April?
April of next year. Uh-oh.
That
And
just
it's
sounds
like
great.
55 and raining.
That does, you know. Sometimes just like, getting away, it felt so good to just be away a little bit, you know.
Thank you.
But again, 99 degrees.
Yeah, I hear you.
But I think I'm built for that.
Do secret. Yeah, but why would you-
So they went to
You want
Italy
us
and
to
it
be
was,
the
you know,
decision maker?
the drought hit Italy and the fountains were.
Oh, that's the one they were.
They didn't run the fountains.
First Lakers.
Your rise to the pledge, please.
There was something else making it around. Not that.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Secretary Conley will take the roll call. Rebecca Anderson,
Here.
John Kopis,
Here.
Anthony Gorski,
here.
Michael Reinhold, Joseph Keefe,
Here.
Lawrence Korzenowski.
Here,
Chairman Conley is here. All right. I have payroll sheets. If anybody brought them tonight, John, I'll give you yours, 'cause, I have them with me here. If you haven't gotten them in yet, you can give them to me and I'll drop them off to Morgan, or you could just send them in yourself if you don't have them. Either drop them off or mail to Morgan at 21 Central Avenue. Morgan Fay, F-A-Y.
And just to clarify, can I ask, how often do you submit those?
It's the first time ever, I think. So, yeah, we mentioned this at the last meeting, but they're changing over the payroll. We were the only ones that got paid on a biannual, us and the ZBA, and they're changing over so that we get paid like everybody else.
Okay.
I don't think I need to do anything. Mine went into my checking account. Just get a check last week or something, my wife says.
Yeah, I got a check in it.
I got a check too. I think they're trying to catch up.
Yeah.
And then eventually, I think they'll do direct deposit.
No, mine went directly in,
Oh, did it?
Oh, yours did already?
according to what my wife said.
That's the extra money she took out.
Yeah, I had submitted my direct deposit and I got a check, so I was
I
confused.
think it overlapped.
I
Yeah.
think what happens is, since it's going back to July 1st, for those weeks, you got to check for weeks going forward, it'll be the direct deposit.
That's what I thought too, but I don't know why Tony already got
special.
his in.
Okay.
Anyway, when you have a chance, fill that out, and she's particularly looking for the email address, if there's been any changes there or anything.
Sounds good.
Let's address the minutes of the August 3rd meeting. Hopefully you had a chance to look it over. We did get most of us, I think, got a hard copy today. Any additions, deletions, comments? Thanks to Joe for helping out again, and also thanks to Cindy, who is still doing some of the work to help me out. If there are no changes, can we have a motion to accept?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. All right, communications list. While you're looking at this, I did get a chance to look at the ZBA minutes. As I previously told you, I forgot to put that on there, didn't I? Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's add that. Can't believe I did that. So 8.17.08 would be the ZBA minutes. From their, I don't know if that was August 10th that they met? No, 9th, August 9th meeting, maybe. 22, but I had a chance to look at those minutes, and as I mentioned, variances for the car wash were denied. August 11th, thanks. I was thinking it was Tuesday. The variances for the Forest View rezone were accepted. So as of now, that will be going forward to the town board. Right. Anything else on the communications list?
Yeah, email from Supervisor Ruffino asking Attorney Fowler to research the establishment of a planning board by local law.
Yeah, he's been apparently looking into the planning board becoming a final decision-making body. I didn't mention that, but anybody who's here, we are an advisory board, not a final decision-making board. In some communities, the planning board does make the final decision. Amherst, I think, is one of them. We do not do that. They're just looking into the possibility of that happening here.
Does not the Amherst also then have a town planner?
They have
entire planning
professional
de-
planners.
An entire planning department?
They do. They
Right.
have,
Well,
have
we could
staff.
start there. And an increase in the code enforcement bureau. These are all the things that are necessary, that we've over and over and over, that we're so far behind without changing from decision, from advisory to decision making. Because your advice costs so much, to implement it costs more.
Okay, there's a survey from Mary Ellie Ortiz from the Erie County Department of Environment and Planning that you can complete online or print out and send in. The survey is to give them a better idea of what training we'd like. For those of you that don't know, we are required to get 4 hours of annual training every year. So if anybody's interested in doing that and hasn't received that, I will forward that address. You could just go to Erie County Department of Environment and Planning if you have any ideas what they should present. All right, if nothing else, we'll move on with our agenda. For your information, the rezone on Broadway has been taken off the agenda for tonight. we may have some time to talk about it, but it will not be an agenda item per se. All right, so first up is the amended site plan for TurboPro. We should have put up the easel.
No, that's all right, I won't need it. Thank you, Chairman Conley and members of the board. Robert Pedanek from Nussbaumer and Clark. Our office is located at 3556 Lakeshore Road in Hamburg, and we're here this evening on behalf of the applicants, Joseph and Brenda Bantle. They're asking for your recommendation for site plan approval in connection with a 3,100 square foot addition that they are proposing on their existing building located at 1284 Town Line Road. We appeared before you on August 3rd. Plans had not been submitted out to the town engineer at that point, and subsequently, town engineer Schiller has reviewed the engineering plans and has issued an approval, which was submitted to this board as of August 10th. TurboPro specializes in industrial compressors, repairs. They provide parts and repairs. They do have an in-house engineering and manufacturing department and a fully staffed repair shop. They currently employ 10 employees. I think they're looking to grow a little bit. Hopefully, they will be able to do that. Because the project is under 4,000 square feet, it is a Type 2 action pursuant to seeker. And I don't know that any further decision is required.
Yeah, same with the manager. I can't turn mine off either.
In addition to two small additions to the existing building that total 3,100 square feet, there will be a small stormwater detention basin will be added in the back of the site that meets with the town's stringent guidelines of needing a 10-year present condition versus the 100-year proposed condition. They are not planning to expand the parking that I'm aware of, and the utilities, sanitary and water that currently serve the building are existing, and they're not going to need any further extensions for those. Joe and Brenda are with me tonight. They've done a lot of legwork in connection with the project, but they're here in case you have any questions, and I'd be happy to answer any of that.
Couple permits need to be,
Yeah, the PIP, when they have a contractor selected, they have to file for a private improvement permit for the proposed improvements.
okay. Anything else? Questions, anybody?
I would say seeker was just coordinated August 11th for this, so we're looking at September for the seeker review.
Well, it's a Type 2 action, so we don't have to do seeker. Correct, Matt?
Yeah,
That's correct. And I
Okay.
even got a comment back from the engineer of the town hall.
Okay.
It's
But
really
it's
hard.
not required,
I don't know why it says it in here.
Process.
Okay.
Secret is completed at this point.
Okay.
All right, so we don't have to do that.
correct.
All right, so I think we can go ahead. Any questions, members?
No.
I had made a note to myself that stormwater needed to be reviewed and.
I think Lisa's,
Yeah.
I think she sent out the
It's in
agreement.
the supervisor's office right
Yep.
now for signature, probably gonna, before the ink is dry, head down to the county clerk's office and get it filed and back in here.
I could cross that right off.
I'm thanking Brenda for all the legwork, because every time we tell her something needs to be processed, she's in the attorney's office the next day getting it notarized and recorded downtown.
Beautiful. All right, do we have a motion? Anybody so inclined?
I'll make a motion to recommend approval of the project as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the question. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. And just as far as next steps, will this be put before the town board as a referral, or?
Yeah, a memo will go to the town board, and you should be, I don't know if we're ready for next, because you meet on
Monday.
next Monday, right?
Yeah.
which would be, I think, September 5th for the town board.
I think it's the 6th of Labor Day.
Oh, say, right, 6th because of Labor Day, so Tuesday the 6th. How can they find out at which, call the clerk's office?
Attorney Coates.
Right. So if we can get him on for this week, is that a possibility?
I can try out the
Okay.
possibility that it was approved today, so hopefully I can catch it by tomorrow.
The resolutions have to be filed by Thursday, right?
They'd be done with.
Right.
Tomorrow afternoon by 12.
See, I'm thinking because it's a type 2, maybe this is a little different, we can,
Expedite it.
yeah,
So, the email
thank you.
tonight said it was approved.
Yeah.
But I will check with the town council.
Okay.
She may say I can't get it done.
Right.
I know that Joe and Brenda have been coordinating closely with Matt on what is needed as far as the building permits go, so they are anxious to start.
Yeah, and we want to
Yep,
help that process, but
we understand.
Brian.
Yep,
You can start the PIP process if you want. I mean, that also has to go to the town board. That won't go until probably the 6th,
okay.
but you can certainly get the application.
Yeah, I don't know if they've selected a contractor yet.
Yeah,
We'd have to
but between now
provide
and
bonds,
then,
but
yeah, they can-
I'll discuss it with them.
the forms are, the clerk has the forms.
Very good. Thank you on behalf of the Bantons.
Okay, take care.
Congrats.
All right, we're going to go down to the concept plan for a brewery at Broadway and Pavement. Joe, if you could come up here. John, could you just slide that over a little bit, Taylor?
It is a little.
Thank you.
All right, I didn't know this was what this meeting was going to be.
Yeah, this is,
So, all right, so we're looking at 6050 on Broadway, and we just...
Joe, excuse me, could you give me your, Joe, so we can, for the record, Joe, what's your last name again?
Peachy,
How do you spell it?
P-I-C-I.
P-I-C-I, okay.
Yep.
All right, sorry. So just, tell us a little bit about your plan, the exact location.
Yep, so it's right on the corner of Broadway and Pavement. Our plan, we're looking at hopefully putting up, if everything goes through with the property, would be at like roughly an 80 by 40 building, just a standard pole barn.
Is it east or west of
I actually have the
Pavement?
print
Northwest corner.
out that I can give you.
Yeah, the northwest corner or the northeast
I'm
corner?
hoping it's the northwest. That should be.
Picture of it.
So it's the east side. And it's next to the welding shop where Tim Hortons was gonna be.
It was supposed to be an old Tim Hortons.
Yeah.
It was proposed, I think, maybe in 2000.
Boy.
It's the east side.
Northeast side?
East
The
side.
northeast side.
Oh. That has,
Yeah, that's got some problems. I was thinking you were the other
Which
side.
is
but-
kind of what we wanted to find out.
Yeah.
I do know that there was .23 acres of wetlands, which when I called the Army Corps, they said that it's, as long as it's not disturbed, because it said it's federal land, that it shouldn't be an issue, as long as you don't disturb it. So this is kind of how we're trying to figure out more information about the property before we even put any money down on,
good move.
because there's just so much, we don't know why it's sitting there on the market for 600 days. It's showing, and it might be longer, whether they refreshed it, so we're just trying to gather a little more information.
Yeah, there are some
Sorry.
problems with that property, so now you know why it's been on the market for
Yeah.
so long. I don't know, anybody else want to
Well,
mention anything?
Tim Hortons came in and wanted to put a facility there, and they came in with a really well-thought-out and well-designed plan. And they totally avoided the wetlands and any environmental issues, and they angled their building with their drive-through and stuff, and they had adequate stacking and parking and things, and the neighborhood had a fit. And they were afraid that people coming for coffee were going to be cutting through the subdivision, which I couldn't imagine. But
But it needed a rezone though,
it
right?
needed, yeah, it needed rezone, so it
This need
did.
a rezone too?
I think it did.
No?
No.
This does
but
not.
This one does not.
It's
Okay.
currently light commercial.
Yeah,
based
so,
on-
so, I'm just saying, I actually liked the design of the Tim Hortons. I actually liked it.
They did a nice job.
They did a very nice job, so.
As long as your building can avoid the wetland issue.
Right. What they did is they angled it. It was
At the top part,
catty corner across the lot. It wasn't square on the street, it was,
it's kind of what we had in that back right corner, thinking, at least. But yeah, we wanted to just get some basic questions before even looking into architects, because you could buy the property and hire architects and then get told no for some reason that you didn't know.
Right.
So,
no, it's a good thing.
Only thinking about entrances on pavement?
yes. I think it was probably about 150 feet or so off Broadway, at the top part of the property.
Any other comments?
How big a building are we putting in?
Approximately 3,200 square feet, I would say. Could be smaller a little bit, but that's probably ballpark.
You're gonna brew on site?
Brew on site, can't distribute.
Can't distribute?
You- I said you cannot distribute as
Cannot
far as to like consumers or Wegmans.
Okay,
because
so it's not gonna be,
It'd be consumption on site, maybe some cans if you want to take a 4-pack out with the 6-pack. You could do that in light commercial zoning. So more would be to have a tap room, patio.
and there, when looking at the opposition to that, personally, I'd love to go to a tap room there on Broadway and K.
Yeah, we think
But-
the location's great.
But, again, not sure what may be raised by the neighborhood. I don't want my coffee there, I don't want a brewery there.
Yeah, and that was one of the things we wanted to talk about.
Which isn't determinative.
Yeah, but I mean, if it's as of use and it's zoned properly,
Right, that's different.
that's a huge
Right.
difference, yeah.
It's,
Any food?
It would be just to start finger food, probably designed to have a kitchen set up so that in the future we can grow into that, but we're more focused on the beer aspect than, so maybe soft pretzels to start, just stuff along those
So it
lines.
sounds just like the place on Ransom and Walden.
For the cider place?
Clarksville.
Cider,
Cider.
cider,
Right,
more than that now.
pretty much, but it's pretty much the same
right.
thing, just on Broadway and Pavement.
But they're out
They have a limited
out in the
food
middle of
menu
nowhere.
and-
Well, you're in Genesee, they're raising.
Not
Same thing
someone
right now.
listening out their bedroom window.
Correct.
What hours of operation? About,
I don't know what quiet time is in Lancaster, but it seems most go till about 11 or so. Maybe
I
even a
think
little
what
later.
came out of the Tim Horton thing was that the only thing they were really interested in seeing there was either some sort of small residence or a small office operation. So I think you'd have a lot of difficulty, I think,
Okay.
at
I know
that
there's
site.
neighbors right next door too.
Yeah, the traffic
There's
issue.
one house there, and then there's a business on Pavement.
Okay.
I think they'd be upset if there was an outdoor patio that faced the houses.
Yeah.
I think,
fire
because-
pits,
Yeah.
Yeah, so what we were thinking was
Music.
to even back the building up closer to, so that the patio was out in front, hopefully the patio, or the building itself would deflect the noise out towards Broadway. Broadway's pretty loud as it is,
So you'd have
Can't.
the outdoor activities facing the corner of
yes,
the.
almost where Broadway and Pavement meet.
That would be smart.
Is the space across the street available, the northwest corner? Because that's a perfect site.
I thought I saw it was available, but I don't remember how much, I think it was quite a bit more money. I think it was like
quite a bit more money, too.
100,000, 400, yeah.
Right, yeah. Big one.
How you doing?
It's a substantial plan that they're developing.
Because when they sent us over the old prints for that Tim Hortons, they also sent us for across the street. And we didn't know what the plans for that, we were so confused at first because we didn't know that it was the other property. So we haven't looked at that one. We just thought the price for this was pretty good
It's
at 120,000, but maybe that's because there's issues with it.
got issues.
So that's why I'm here, to figure that out.
The use permit is there to also mitigate some of the issues that the neighborhood may have with noise and hours of operation. So that's a good way to find a middle ground.
Dave, do you have any comments?
Joseph, Russell Department, called me for you. This is the first time more down stuff. But it may be an idea to go talk to some of those neighbors that are close and think about potential doing this.
Yeah.
I would say be prepared to, if you go any further, be prepared to spend a little bit of money on some screening or fences or trees or something along that residential side. That might ease their angst a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, we had thought about trees directly behind it. And there's one more direct resident right on Broadway to the left.
I think there's one resident direct on Broadway, and there might be one lot on that side street that abuts this parcel.
Sawgrass.
It's like a
Sawgrass,
corner,
right, yeah.
small corner of it or something.
There's a retention pond. There's a retention pond back there.
Right, so that opposition, that falls through on that basis.
They can screen,
Right.
zone correctly, and then that's what the variances.
What's the effect on traffic on that corner? I'm just asking. I don't know if it would be
With the light there, with the light there, it's pretty well, that's why I was asking where his entrance was gonna be. If they're coming out to the pavement, they're coming to the light, if they wanna go either direction on Broadway, so.
That's a DOT and a county highway determination, and they did improve that intersection for, additional traffic, turning lanes, the arrow, the potential inlet into the golf course heading south, as well as pedestrian crossings. So your design team should really look into pedestrian traffic on both sides of that property. Although you're not going to abut to an existing sidewalk, they will be there at some point. So it might be beneficial to get ahead of it, get the right ramping down, and just be that leader in that corner.
A lot of people riding bicycles to places like this now too. I think it's a big thing. So yeah,
It's not too far from the town either, so.
Easy to avoid a DWI.
you can still get one.
Biking while intoxicated.
DW.
You probably want to talk to a design professional to make sure that you can be a lot cleaner if you can pull off the size building you want, meet all the code requirements, and not need a ton of variances. That'll muddy the waters a little bit if you more variances you need.
Variances is definitely money in the water.
We've been in talks with Wendell, which they have the architects, the engineers, someone on their board has designed breweries. So just kind of more once we got a feel for this before spending a lot of money.
Yeah.
We just wanted to get, so would you recommend going around talking to the neighbors? I have no problem doing that, to the direct ones.
Might not hurt to get the pulse. Take your rendering. You might want to.
That was a last minute rendering too.
Yeah.
So I'll get color next
I
time.
mean, if you have a site plan that's to scale and you can plop the building on there, that might help if you're talking to the neighbors.
Yep.
So they've got an idea of scale and how far from property line and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't lie to them, but I would, downplay some of the outdoor, draw that we're achieving.
Fair enough.
Well, ultimately, it's your decision whether you want to go forward. I think we've let you know that there could be some stumbling blocks, and we can't promise anything. And you might get some opposition, so it's up to you whether you want to go forward. But do you have any other questions? Or?
Is that something that can be overturned by complaints by the citizens? Or?
Well, we have to make the decision, but we also have to listen.
Their feedback.
There's a balance there, like you have to take care of the neighborhoods, but you also want to be business friendly, and so on. So we try to hit that balance.
Okay.
I don't want to speak out of line, but it's zoned properly. What
Right.
you're trying to do there is properly zoned. So really, if you, unless something is drastically wrong with your design, I don't think we can really say you can't do it.
I think you're right.
Correct.
No, I wasn't here for the Tim Hortons, but that fell apart with variances that it needed? Or
But it needs to be
rezoned?
rezoned,
Which you won't need.
which he doesn't need.
Correct.
Yeah, so you have that going in your favor, that this is zoned properly. And it's tough. It's tougher for a board to say no when it's zoned properly.
They don't have to make
Doesn't
any
mean you
changes
can't.
to it. And
Variances too, Joe, you vary from what's on the code, you know, for example, parking spots. The code says you need 100, and you only, you can only fit 90, that's a variance. So that, you have to go into the ZBA, the zoning board of appeals to get a variance on that code. And that could stop you on it. Car wash.
So if you do come in with further plans, they'd be able to see if there's going to be a variance required or not.
Your design professional should be able to look it up in the code. He'll be able to plop the square foot building on there. He'll be able to do some quick math and let you know how many parking spaces you need, how much area you need for water retention, and how many spaces you can fit.
Perfect.
It should be a rather quick exercise for somebody to say whether or not you're going to need variances or not.
That's all down the line stuff.
And one more place to drink draft beer.
Who doesn't need
Lancaster,
that?
the Huckabee.
Who doesn't need that?
It says a lot about the neighborhood if they don't complain about the brewery, but they complain about the coffee.
That's why they'll walk here.
But a brewery is a different use in the sense that the morning, the Tim Hortons traffic was the biggest complaint. And if I recall, there were several folks who were afraid that people were going to try to avoid the corner and cut through Sawgrass, the subdivision, and to get up north on pavement, which I couldn't see that. It didn't make any sense to me. But they were afraid there'd be such a lineup of cars coming in. And I'm hoping you have a lineup of cars too at some point.
If they were worried about headlights too, pointing into their neighborhood, they were worried about people going through the drive-through and hearing them placing their orders. And they were worried about the cut-through, but that was, I believe that was also
Pre-light.
the light.
Pre-light,
The light, that's right.
So the light will make it easier for you to get it out for your customers as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're not all arriving continuously at the same hour and a half or 2 hours in the morning.
Yeah, 7
They're,
o'clock in the
they're they're coming at various times. Dinner rush, but still. And plus, they're going to be parking their cars and getting out and going in the building as opposed to that constant
Yeah,
stream.
don't put a beer drive-through.
Might be the next thing, next big thing.
Good luck.
Well, it helps. It helped a lot. I appreciate your guys' time.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, Joe.
Good luck.
Kind of looking forward to it.
All right, I have a few discussion items. The Metzger Broadway rezone came off today. I was going to talk to Dave about that. As I said in my email, we have a choice there. We could deny the rezone. We could accept the rezone partially. We just rezone the part that he needs, and we leave the other part the same. There's some drawback to split zoning, I guess. Or we could rezone the whole property but have like deed restrictions or something like that. But
That's messy.
I think so too.
That's messy.
I think the only way that I would be in favor of this, and I'm just talking for myself, is if we partially rezone. But I know that might be an issue. But I think this might be the answer to this one. Anyway, Dave, did you have a chance to talk to other board members
I
about
just
it?
sent the email out this afternoon after Mike sent me or called me.
Yeah.
So I didn't get anything back. Actually, Ron didn't know anything about the
I saw that, yeah. I returned your message, but maybe you wanted me to wait. I don't know, but but I think we're going to need to see what the town board feels about this and what direction they might give us some better idea what direction we should go in. And that's fine with me.
This is the one right by Knights of Columbus, right?
Yes. So 44 acres. He was only going to use, I don't know, I forgot 2 acres or something.
He's got like asphalt driveway or something else. Some millings or something.
Yeah, it's a hardwood floor warehouse.
So I guess we'll wait on that then and see if,
If we get any comments from the rest of the town board, Matt also suggested we take a look at the comprehensive plan, see what it says there.
you know, I was gonna do that today and I just didn't get around to that, but yeah, I'm not sure. You know, I worked on the comprehensive plan, but there was just so much there that I can't remember what that part was about. So, all right, the Lucas James project was denied by the town board, but correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, but it sounds to me like they would be in favor of it if it was rezoned for apartments.
That's my understanding.
Yeah.
That's the Broadway and Bowen one they
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
like?
The councilman Larry called me and said that he would change it over to went for rezone for more of apartment style.
And I was in favor of that all along.
I'm not sure why he pursued it that way.
I think his thinking was that he didn't want to go through the rezone process and it might, yeah. But I think it would make a better project. I think he was leaning that way himself, the Lucas
He
was.
said so several times.
Yeah.
So does the public hearing have to be held back at the planning board or would it be at the town board for that reason?
The reason?
You'd have to apply, right?
Yeah,
You have to apply for the rezone, right? and
Lucas
start the process over again.
yeah, and I contacted a couple of people, but Lucas contacted me and said that he was under the impression that the town board could just approve the rezone without it coming back to the planning board. And
I don't know if that.
I thought that the rezone triggers a whole new,
Because people have to be contacted.
Notifications.
you gotta go through public hearing, you gotta go, I don't know about going through the seeker process again.
One action
Yeah.
for a rezone.
But what we did before doesn't,
So we would need to do a long form.
oh, because it
That
was,
would
because
redone.
it's type, so we would then.
So he's got to come back here.
So also note, in May at some point, we had a request for variance and or interpretation from the hotel and motel industry. Hopefully to begin a conversation to have adjustments made to zoning districts that would allow attachment of units within those zoning districts. Because the effects of COVID just about decimated that industry. The entertainment industry is gone, the travel industry is very limited, and these motel, hotel franchises are left with these facilities that are not getting a return on their investment. So they're considering and have successfully had changes in other municipalities that convert a portion of their facilities into attached dwelling units, apartment rental units, which currently isn't allowed in our zoning requirements. So there's that discussion as well, and it hasn't gotten to a board yet. And they're asking regularly. The applicant has a construction project going right now, and before he loses his contractors, he really wants to get in and renovate a portion of the building to provide these dwelling units. In the meantime, he's advertising long-term hotel rooms, long-term leases, similar to what that project was proposing. But the intention there is to allow apartments within those hotel and motel buildings. The town of Amherst just recently adopted in their legislation. The city of Buffalo is all for it. There are several buildings downtown that are converting to apartment use as well as motel short-term stay. And there's some other, I think Kenmore or Tonawanda, one of the other ones, but they're going in that direction. Town of Cheektowaga is currently having that discussion. But they also have their heads around the Airbnb concepts. They have legislation already in place with that, and they're already seeing the negative effects of what the industry is doing to some neighborhoods. So, this can go either way. Rather than rezoning, a simple zoning district adjustment could alleviate a lot of this.
I'm not sure where that leaves us.
Yeah, it doesn't help this project.
Doesn't help
Right.
the project now.
Right, yeah, for future projects.
All right, so I guess there's nothing that we can do at this time. We have to go through the process again. I think Lucas was going to call the attorney's office, and I don't know if he talked to Lisa or he was going to talk to Supervisor Rufino too. But maybe I should give him a call back and tell him that,
I would say submit his long form as fast as he can with current site plan. Site plan's not changing, I don't think.
he did submit a rezone application. I'm not sure if he had the long form EAF in
There
it.
was.
Oh, was
I
there?
think there was, yeah. I just received the documents either today or yesterday.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, I think I picked him up on Monday.
so-
All right, so he's done that already, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, 'cause that can start the coordination process once those documents are in.
So, is there anything that we need to do to start that process right as soon as possible?
I don't think so.
Can we start it right now?
Yeah. I mean, tomorrow maybe.
I mean, well, I guess all I'm saying is we don't have to wait till the next meeting and then make some kind of a motion to start the process, and that'll be 3 weeks from now. So I want to make sure that we are, I don't know how to do that officially, but it'll be in the minutes that we discussed this, and we know that we have to go through the secret process, start the coordinated review.
Well, it's up to him to submit for it.
But he did.
Yeah.
Part of
He did it.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was attached to the application, so.
Okay. All right, what else I got? Any more discussion regarding the camper issue? I don't want to rehash what we talked about last time, but is there any, where we stand in resolving the problem?
You haven't got anything back from the town board members yet either, so.
I mean, Matt said a whole bunch of different townships, what they have, right, in an email.
Every municipality surrounding us, they gave me a copy of their recreational vehicle code.
Various.
That's what it is. We have to keep in mind, we're not that rural community anymore. Half of it still is, but this side of pavement isn't. We're a suburban community.
What I personally see is that if there's a large vehicle parked in a standard subdivision lot, which was 75 by 150 or something, which becomes a problem when it hangs over the sidewalk. But on my street on Lake Avenue, where some of the lots are 75 by whatever, but a lot of them are older, bigger lots, and they've had their campers in their front yards for years. And there's never been an issue because they're at least, I'd say, 35 feet from the street, if they're on the sidewalk, and they're back. And so I'd hate for anyone who has been doing that at their home for all these years to start having an issue when there's never been a complaint. With those folks on the older streets, but in the subdivisions, I see it a lot, right on the corner of Sagebrush. But they're, most of the time, they're just there for a few days, and they come home from camping, and they clean it up, and they take it wherever they go. So maybe something we could think about would be having dates where from summer months, you could have them for a few days or whatever, or set back away from, I don't think they can get to their backyards.
No,
It's too
most of them
skinny,
can't.
They can't get back there.
Yeah, without
But
taking
maybe
us
they could have,
living
as long
room.
as it doesn't hang over the sidewalk, they could,
Seasonal.
you know, seasonal use, but it's that restriction of it cannot encroach on the
If you
sidewalk.
read through those municipal requirements, you can see how some have gone that route.
Yeah,
Others are just totally,
nope,
that's it.
nope.
Districts have been broken up to allow them in certain areas and in other areas not.
Right.
Again, this is a residents' discussion.
Yep.
The community is going to use their facilities the way they want to use them. I think input is a huge part of this decision.
Can we set a public hearing for something like this?
I mean, definitely could set.
I'd recommend several.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that
really.
needs to come from the town board probably, right? Yeah. So before we act on it, we need to get that input.
Maybe first meeting in September, we'll get something.
Okay.
To me, it's,
Well, at least resolution and have it here.
Right.
if you do it set months, I think that's a enforcement nightmare for Matt and his folks.
It has been for at least since I've been here. It starts early in the spring when they come out of storage.
Yeah, I know, but if you dictate months,
Oh. Either way, good. Enforcement is enforcement, it is what it is. Whatever the code is, the way it's written is the way it's going to be enforced. And you're going to have those that follow along, you're going to have those that don't.
yeah. I'm in an agricultural district, so I can't tell you how many houses on my street have them parked on the sides of their side lot. And it's a whole different animal.
It's gonna be hard to make a blanket rule for diverse language.
I think keep them off the sidewalks is.
That blanket rule was created at a time prior to our housing. boom.
Right, that's what I mean, it's like,
It's that old.
yeah,
Keep them off the sidewalks and you have to, whatever, May 1st until October 1st, and after that, they got to be stored somewhere else. Something like that, I don't know.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
And most people, like you said, clean them up and then they get them back out to their parks or wherever.
Yeah, I
They're not
think-
there for the whole 4 months.
no, that community as a whole seems to like really be into it. You know, like, so they,
More than you think.
yeah, no, I see them, I don't think it's a community that's abusive.
Four, then those 4 are gone, 2 weeks later, you go back and there'll be another group that come back and are cleaning up, there's more. And with the COVID thing, I think more people invested in it.
Huge, through the roof, yeah.
Dave, just a point of order. Is Mike Reinhold officially a member of this board?
He is.
Right now?
He was appointed at the last meeting.
Okay. I want to make sure that I was correct in calling his name for roll call.
Appointed last meeting.
All right, any other discussion items, Matt?
I fully expected to have those applications here for you to review.
I actually had that, but I figured I'd ask you
Are
for,
you kidding? There's no way. I'm
Yeah.
gonna try to do it during.
I got it right here, updates of applications.
Vacation next week, I might do it one night, I might, but I doubt
All
it.
right,
Don't do it.
I hope you don't, honestly,
Don't
don't do it.
Vacation is vacation.
I'll be back with a black eye if I do.
We'll look for it.
all right, anything else?
Just tell your schedule of the next vacation.
There you go.
I think I'm done.
You know, I was trying to get Turbo Pro, conference, Mondays, like when we were talking about.
Yes.
Friday, at least if we're not on Monday.
Yeah, I think if it can be done, I think the members all agree that we should probably do it. Why hold it up anymore?
And that's the only resolution coming out of the meeting, so.
Yeah, sure. Well, we have a couple, there were some other ones that were, some missing some pieces, Lisa could not put out for the last meeting.
Oh.
Try it, I think there was some issues with some, there was some homework.
I thought Triad did take care of their
Well,
missing stormwater agreements or
yeah, there was
something.
something like that, and there was another one.
What was the one, the application was missing, but then she found it, I think, or it wasn't signed or something, I forgot.
I'm not sure, I'm not, the email, I can't.
That's why I bring my phone.
Shop and storage, there was a well issue, the decommissioned well we had to okay for. That was the Genesee Street project.
Yeah, I think she was looking for something on the well from DEC or something.
Yeah, that's why it wasn't put up for approval at the last board meeting. I feel bad, outline yard improvement, that should have went on. It's like it wasn't on, so we have. Who said, so those are the ones, it was Triad, and shop and storage. Shop and storage was something, decommissioned well and something else. I don't know if would that go forward?
I mean, yeah, I mean, she was waiting for documentation that she was looking for, I mean, yeah.
I'll ask her.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I think it's worth putting in the minutes that we're still looking for someone to put in the minutes.
You know, we're making a record,
I think you're right.
so that counts, the tape.
I will put that in.
Okay, but certainly, Mr. Keefe's efforts, not covered by his position on the planning board, he should be compensated for it.
Oh, yeah, right.
Okay? No. Right,
I'll share it with Neil.
right.
5 here.
But,
Yeah,
but at some point, I mean, no one's gonna do anything unless some action is taken.
Proposal to the board that until the position's filled, someone, whoever's not, the member of, who's taking the note should be paid for, as a secretary for that position.
it took me 4 hours to just do the seeker the other day. I'm exaggerating. 4 hours was probably the whole minutes, but the seeker alone probably took me 2 hours just to get that correct. And I don't have the forms and all that stuff, so I had to actually, type it from scratch and everything. It's just tedious, And then I don't have that's where Joe and I get together, and he's got more of the, who made the motion, who did the second, that type of thing, so I get that straight.
Or back up the projects, that we're not making any decisions without a proper secretary. That'll get their attention.
I
Call
like,
the pre- call
I like
press,
the
too.
idea of saying we can't have our meetings because we don't have a secretary.
Right?
Or a phone extension that I could forward all calls to.
You know, 70s were a riotous time.
Okay, if there's nothing else, I'll make a motion to adjourn. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
I'd second, but I don't want to mess up Joe's record.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. All right, so next meeting is not till September 7th, in 3 weeks.
Wow, yeah.
All right, everybody enjoy the holiday. I can't believe it's already,
Yeah, I know. We just
On
had
us.
Memorial Day.
gotta close my pool.
That's right, and now it's Labor
Right,
Day.
you just did all the stuff with that.
It's about 3 a.m., so I'm gonna go to bed.
That's right, you're still on the Italy. All right, good for you.
Yeah, see everybody